Students, now we will start with the part that is called the leaves. Already we have discussed in the first lecture about the roots and the stem. Now today's lecture will be on the leaves. So, as you all know, the leaves are green in color and they are also known as the food factories of the plant. So, why they are known as food factories? Because they prepare their food for the plants. Okay, and where do they arise from? They arise from the nodes. As already yesterday I have in the first lecture shown that this is the stem and this is the part of the leaf that arises. This part is called the node. So the leaves, where they will arise from? They will arise from the nodes. Okay, so this is a very important characteristic feature, and they also have a particular shape and size. Okay, so now let us see about the different parts of the leaf. Now for a leaf, there is the main body of the leaf, which is called the lamina. It is also called leaf blade. Okay, and if you can see a leaf properly, you can see a thick line going through the middle, which is called the midrib. And there are branches of the veins, and further branches are veinlets. The narrow stalk of the leaf is called the petiole. So now I'll show you the diagram of the leaf and I'll try to explain you the different parts of the leaf. So if you can see here, this whole broad portion is called the lamina of the leaf. So this broad portion, okay, as you can see here, is called the lamina of the leaf. Okay, and this is going from the center, it is called the midrib. This is the continuation of the petiole. It is going farther like this way. So this is the midrib. And here you can see the veins are arising from the midrib. Okay. Also you can see there are slightly lighter branches. So many numerous branches are arising from the veins. These are called the veinlets. So a network of veins which form the branch and arising from the veins are called the veinlets. They serve to transport the raw materials and also the manufactured food to all the parts of the body. Which is the lamina? The main portion of the leaf is called the lamina. The whole portion is called the lamina. And the stalk is called what? The petiole. And see, you can see the outer boundary of the leaf. This is called the leaf margin. So sometimes you can see an even margin, sometimes you can see rough margin. So different types of leaves have different shapes and also they have different types of margins. Okay. Now we will talk about the venation. Now just now we have seen that there is a midrib and from the midrib the veins arise. From the veins there are a number of branches that are arising which are called the veinlets. So this is a pattern. There is a way of arrangement of the veins in the leaf. So this arrangement, the pattern of arrangement of the veins is called the venation. Okay. So, how the veins and veinlets are arranged, for that there is an arrangement. This type of arrangement is called what? Venation. So, based on the arrangement of the veins, there are two types of venation. One is the parallel venation and the second one is the reticulate venation. So, in the parallel venation, you can see that the veins are running parallelly. So they don't meet at any particular point. The lines are all parallel to one another from the base to the tip of the leaf. So if you can see that there are two types of venation based on the types of veins, the arrangement of veins, the parallel and the reticulate. Now in parallel venation, you can see the veins runs parallelly. And they never meet. The veins never meet. They all run parallel to one another starting from the base to the tip of the leaf. Now in reticulate, there is a net-like pattern on both sides of the midrib. Always you can see the veins are in a net-like pattern as in the people leaf. Now I'll show you with the help of the diagram from the book. So as you can see here, this is the parallel venation of the banana and this is the reticulate venation of the people. So here you can see this is a midrib, and these are the veins that run parallelly. So there is no network formation. So that is why it is called what? Parallel venation. And here you can see networks, branches, veins, veinlets. This is the midrib, and this is the vein. These are the veinlets. So many veinlets are visible here, and they form what? They form the network. So this is the reticulate venation, which forms a net-like pattern on both the sides of the midrib, as in the people leaf, as in the mango leaf. Okay. Now, it is possible when we look into the leaves, okay, it is possible for us to find out that what kind of the roots they are having. Okay, when we see that leaves are having parallel venation, then they have the fibrous type of roots. Do you remember fibrous type? That means they look like bush. There is no primary root and lateral root. Similarly, here if the parallel leaves, the plant will have the fibrous root. And for the reticulate venation, where there is network, they will have the tap roots. So without digging and taking out the roots from the soil, we can easily identify what type of roots they have if we can understand about the difference between the parallel venation and the reticulate venation. Next, we come to the functions of the leaf. The most important function of the leaf is photosynthesis, that is to produce their food. So how the leaf produce their food? By the help of carbon dioxide, water. In the presence of chlorophyll and light, they produce food and they release what? Oxygen. So the main function, the most important function of the leaf is to produce food, and they also store the food. The second most important function is to breathe. That means the leaf of the plant helps the plant to breathe. That means they have what? They have some tiny openings which are called the stomata, which helps them to breathe. So these tiny openings are present on the leaves, and this what they do, these are the openings that help the plant to breathe. So I'll just try to show you here. This is the opening, and these openings are guarded by the guard cell. So this opening is called what? Stomata. So these types of openings are present in the leaves, and these are very small tiny openings. This helps in the exchange of the gases. Also they help to lose water. Excess water is lost through the stomata, and this process is called what? Transpiration. So the excess water that is lost from the plant is called what? Transpiration, and this is lost by the help of the stomata. This transpiration also, then when the water is lost, this helps the plant to cool. It helps in cooling effect. It also helps in transportation of nutrients and also helps in the water cycle. So now what is transpiration? This is the loss of water through the stomata. So how the water is lost? In the form of water vapor. So the loss of water in the form of water vapor through the stomata is called what? Transpiration. And what is the function of transpiration? It helps in cooling the leaves, because as you all know, when we sweat, we release a lot of heat and our bodies become cool. So similarly, the plant also cools with the effect of transpiration, with the loss of water. Then it helps in transportation of the nutrients. So how? Because the water is pulled upwards from the roots, because excess water is lost through the transpiration process through the stomata, and so to compensate the loss, in order to overcome the loss, the water has to be absorbed from the soil. So more the water is absorbed from the soil by the roots, the important nutrients are also taken up by the roots from the soil. So transpiration helps in the transport of nutrients to all the parts of the plant. And also they help in water cycle. That means they bring rainfall. As the water evaporates, they go to the higher level of the atmosphere, then they condense and come down to earth as rain. So they maintain the water cycle. They play an important role in water cycle. Who? Stomata. But how? By the process of transpiration. So water cycle, cooling, transport of nutrients are all the effects of transpiration. Now we will discuss about the modifications of the leaf. Now, as you all know, we have already discussed in the stems and the roots that they modify, they change their pattern, their structure, their characteristic, so that they can perform different other functions. Similarly, the leaves also modify themselves, they change their structure, and they have special structures to perform various other functions, like they may form tendrils so that they can attach with the support and they can stand straight. So like in climbers, they have tendrils to help them to support so that they can stand straight. So they need a support, and they are also called the climbers, and the tendrils help them to stand straight. Then sometimes the leaves are modified into spines, so they help in protection. These spines that are formed in the plants, maybe sometimes the leaves are modified to form spines, so this help in protection. Also the spines helps to reduce the water loss, because leaves are modified to spines. As you can see in cactus, the stems are swollen and thickened, and the leaves are modified to spines. So this helps in reducing the water loss in the desert plants. Sometimes the leaves also store extra fruit, extra food materials, and it is eaten as vegetables like cabbage, like lettuce, spinach, like this. So leaves can store extra food, and this is edible, and this can be eaten by human being to get the food. So and the last one is they can grow into new plants. As you can see in Bryophyllum, the leaves of the Bryophyllum can give rise to new plants. So this were all about the functions, like formation of tendrils, converting itself or modified itself to form spines, and this spines helps in protection, also helps to reduce the water loss in the desert plants. Sometimes the leaf stores extra food, like in the cabbage and spinach, which are eaten by us, and the leaves can grow into new plants as in Bryophyllum. So the leaves of Bryophyllum can give rise to new plant of Bryophyllum. From the leaves only the new plants will come out. So this is all about the modifications of the leaf. So now I'll just discuss some of the fill in the blanks that are given in page number 97. So you can see here the stems or fruits conduct water and minerals from the roots to leaves. It will be stems. Carrots, ginger. Then again there is a dash turnip, onions. Again there is a dash beetroot, potato, are three kinds of underground stem. So what are the three kinds of underground stem? Yes, ginger. Then this is the onion and the potato are three kinds of underground stem. Then banana leaves have parallel venation. Exchange of gases in plants takes place through stomata. Loss of water through leaf is called what? Transpiration. So this was all about the exercise that is given in page number 97, and one more is there, so that we will do now. You can see in page number 93, you can see the taproot system is found in sugar cane. Whether it is correct or not, mango tree has fibrous root, money plant has climbing roots, dahlia has prop roots. So let us do this. Taproot system is found in sugar cane. Is it correct or not? So this is false, and there is only fibrous root that is present in the sugar cane. Mango tree has fibrous roots. This is false, and here you have to correct it. Mango tree has taproot. Money plant has climbing roots is true, and dahlia has prop roots is false. Instead of dahlia, you can write banyan tree has prop roots. Okay. So with this we complete this part of the chapter, and in the next class we will be describing about the flowers and the seeds.